Okay, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Dance Dad with John Corella. I am with Nicaya Wiley from Dance Moms, seasons 2 through 7, and graduate of honors from the Boston Conservatory. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
And Norwegian Cruise Line dancers. She dances on this cruise. The Aqua, you said?
Yes, I'm on board the Aqua right now.
I love that name of a cruise ship. That's
Mhm.
fierce.
It
And
is.
she danced with SWV. She knows who they are. She's way too young to know who they are, but she knows who they are because she's young. Her mom definitely knows who they are.
Mhm.
And, I was super impressed that you also took, with Alvin Ailey and with some great teachers there as well. So please welcome to the stage again, Nicaya Wiley.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing this and thank you for making time to be on this. So let's start with how we're feeling because I definitely know how I'm feeling. I do these four
Mhm.
questions. How are you feeling? Where do you feel it? What color is it? And what is it saying? I'm feeling annoyed. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling grateful.
Look at you being grateful while I'm annoyed.
Mhm.
What color is it if it had a color?
Yellow.
I like yellow. Yes. Mine it would be deep maroon. Um,
Mm.
Well, if it had a voice, what would it be saying?
Look how far we've come.
You are just what I need today because I
Mhm.
am not feeling optimistic
That's okay.
in general. And we're going to talk about some deep, meaningful things. You all know that. I get these people on here from the show that you think just kick their leg and some of them yell at people, but we have way deeper experiences in this dance world. Um, and where do you feel that in your body?
Um, my back, honestly, my lower back.
Mm, I like that. I feel it, this annoyance. It's changed now. Emotions change. So it's hopeful. I feel it in my cheeks and it's
Mhm.
saying to listen. So I'm going to listen to you.
Mm.
So what was it like? I saw that you trained with Judith Jamison and she just passed away. What was it like training with her?
Oh my Lord. I couldn't be more honored to have had her in the room. It was such a eye-opening experience. And I mean, she sat majority of the time. She got up a few times, and when she did, the room was just at attention. And she commanded the space without any negativity. None of it was negative. It was all so positive. But she'd just be like, that leg, what is that leg for? Because I didn't choreograph it for you to kick your face. I'm choreographing it for a certain reason. So why are you doing it? It was just so informative, and it really turned the mirror around and really made me as a dancer ask the question of why am I doing this? What does this mean to me? We did one of her pieces, Divining, which is honestly my favorite piece by her. And I was an understudy for one of the solo parts. And I mean, it was standing on one leg, balancing for 10 seconds multiple times. It was a lot, but it was just so fulfilling and
Mm.
amazing to have her in the space and to share that space with her. It really was.
And you said interesting. I always feel that that older generation is, I don't want to say not kind, but I mean, I've had
Mhm.
some older teachers and they're pretty tough and abusive at times, but your
Yeah.
experience was kindness and, um, was she tough? Was she,
Yes, she was a tough cookie. She definitely will get on you and make sure that you were doing what you needed to do and also just being present and giving 100%. But I actually got to talk to her outside of the studio as well for a very long time. And
oh
she
my
just is
God.
passionate. She's very passionate. And that's something you don't get often. And if you do, sometimes, like you said, it comes out in kind of mean ways and
Yeah.
ways that can traumatize us as dancers. But that experience was wholeheartedly one of my favorite experiences ever with the choreographer slash teacher slash icon of dance.
She's a legend. I mean,
Yeah.
she'll be in, her and Alvin Ailey will be in history books.
Oh, yeah.
For art, for dance, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What's something that you learned from her?
Hmm. I learned to never be apologetic about who I am as an artist, to never question that. Because I didn't always, I mean, I'm somewhat flexible, I guess you could say, but I was never the most flexible dancer in the room with the archiest feet and,
Mm.
you know, always to my face, but I still ended up in the spaces and the jobs that I have been blessed with. So I just learned to never be apologetic for who I am as a dancer. That's just, you have to show up and be you and do it. And if you're going to do it the way that you know how, which is what I think she was trying to tell us, because of course she's choreographing on Ailey dancers who are just absolutely phenomenal. And you come to a little studio in St. Louis, and there's just these high schoolers who are just hungry to dance. And it's a different dynamic. And I think the one thing I could take away from that was just to never apologize. Always show up and do it first and do it afraid, but do it. Don't show up timid. Don't show up shy because you're not going to get the outcome that you want.
You said something, and I hope it's that we can talk about this. You said something about you weren't as flexible as certain
Mhm.
people. You didn't have hooked feet as certain people. Do you feel, and I'll talk from my point of view, is that, certain body types in the dance competition world, um, it's body types, it's racial types too of bodies, that we at times, that's our standard. Do you
Yeah.
feel that that came into play in making that standard being something that, I don't know how to say this, but do you feel that that came into play of putting that standard with people that weren't your race?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think if I'm answering the question right, I definitely had my fair share experience with that. Even in my studios back at home, I went to a predominantly white studio growing up doing competition, and just always worrying about my hair and how it looked. And then even just going to a ballet dance studio, more ballet focused dance studio, just to hone in on my technique, because like I said, I wasn't as flexible. My technique wasn't the best. At competition studios, sometimes that's not the focus. So, or also just as kids, we don't really pay attention as much as we should in ballet because it is deemed boring to us versus our jazz or tap classes. So when I
You
got a
mean
little bit
boring
older,
to you?
yes, 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 to me. I definitely didn't always pay attention, but my mom wanted me to focus on my technique to really get it up to par with where I was going and what she thought I could do. So I went to a ballet focus studio, and that was just, lots of girls who were didn't look like me. And it definitely also didn't help my technique. And I think a lot of dancers can attest to this, but especially for me, it's hard to focus in ballet when you feel like the only people who are getting corrections are the people with thigh gaps and really long, flexible hips and legs. When, as a woman of color, learning in high school that, sometimes people of color predominantly are not born as flexible. That's something that you're born with. You don't just wake up one day, do a split a couple of times, and then now you're flexible. Even as an adult now, I do my splits almost every day before my performances. And it sometimes, like my middle split, it's not all the way down to the floor. But
Mm.
that's just because my hips were never, I guess, made to move that way. So just feeling like I never had a chance at getting the attention I needed in classes because I didn't look a certain way. Um, and I also did experience that, unfortunately, on the show, in my opinion, literally getting body shamed in front of the world, and feeling like ever since then I was subconscious about my thighs, my legs, and how they were shaped. And if I could do a front walkover, I was made fun of brutally for that. But it was like I didn't train in acro. I love to dance, and that's what my mom put me in. I didn't do all of the tricks. I had an aerial for like maybe a year and lost it. I didn't have those things, but I feel like that shaped how I trained for years until I finally realized that these, like ballet, these techniques are made for you to help refine your technique and your body in the way that you need it to, not the other way around. It shouldn't be based off of how we look or how our body is naturally made. We should be taught and critiqued based off of what our body can do naturally.
That part. I
Hmm.
think that's the lesson. And I'm just listening. Um, I do feel economics comes into it too, because to get flexible, some of those girls take and boys take tons of privates, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's money. So I do think that there's a very, I'm starting to see how even ballet can be very, um, I don't know if the word is capitalistic, but you got to have a lot of money to get that good,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
and so, but how you said naturally of what your body is, that's
Hmm.
what it, not that the standard be, you said the thigh gap and the
Hmm.
flexibility and the hooked feet.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, no, it's very complex. How have you processed all of that now that you're 20, going to be 25 years old?
Hmm. Uh, like I said, just those experiences that I had with some of the people that I met at my studio from, I'd say, 13 to 19 years old, that kind of high school freshman year up to senior year. I had a studio back in St. Louis. It's called Coca Center of Creative Arts. And I just will I'll brag to the ends of the earth about that studio. I mean, I
Mm.
worked with people like Antonio and Kervin Douthty Boyd, both Ailey dancers. Antonio was a principal Ailey dancer, and that's how we got a lot of our connects. And working with people that they would bring in, like Judith Jamison, Matthew Rushing, Ron K. Brown, like prevalent choreographers and legendary artists in the dance world, and especially with Ailey, working with them and taking classes from Kervin, for example, taking Horton, learning more techniques, modern techniques, and understanding that there's beauty in my body and the way that it's shaped and the way that it is and the way that it moves is unique from other dancers, and I need to be proud of that because that's what's going to get me where I need to go. You don't go to auditions, you don't send in self tapes trying to look like the next person. You want to stand out. You want to be different. Because I was going to summer intensives every summer. I was doing auditions for those summer intensives and taking those ballet classes and feeling afraid and feeling like, oh, am I not good enough? And then I just questioned why. Why am I doing that to myself? They're not looking for me to look like the next girl sitting next to me with that thigh gap and she's 5'11" and her leg is all the way up to her ear. She may be just as beautiful of a dancer as I am, but I bring something different to the table, as does she. And we're going to go different directions in our career, and that is okay. So
Mm.
just accepting myself for who I am because no one should ever taint that. No one should ever taint how I view myself. I think I just learned the value of self love and learned that I may not want to be on point doing a ballet company, and that's okay. But I'm just as good as the people in those ballet companies and so on and so forth.
You're enough,
Hmm.
you said, rather
Yeah.
than not being enough. Those
Yeah.
cultures are try to conform you. I've felt it as I've talked about it before, but just to let you know, as being a male dancer, and you're gay, you're always taught to be more masculine. Like, dance, you can be gay, but you got to be masculine. So it made me feel like my gayness or femininity wasn't enough,
Yeah.
like subconsciously. I think it's really bad, dance teachers, to tell young boys that. I'm going to say that again. It's really bad to tell young boys to, oh, well, just dance masculine. Even if you say it nice, just let them dance,
Hmm.
let their body be the way that's supposed to be. And not to say that there's anything wrong, not to say that there's anything wrong with masculinity or hooked feet.
Hmm.
If that is how it was, if that's how it's natural. Um, and you went to, where was the name of it? Coco?
Hoka.
Coca.
Hmm.
When I was reading that, I remembered, I don't know if you remember, but I was around when you auditioned for AUDC, I was usually in the rooms. Um,
Really?
yeah. So I remember you back in the day of when you first auditioned. So what made you and your mom auditioned for AUDC.
I love this story. This is my favorite story to tell. So, I was at that studio, like I said, predominantly white studio that I was competing with at the time, and they had sent out a mass like audition thing. Like, we want all the studios to audition their dancers,
Yeah, I
and we'll
remember.
see. Yeah. So the studio owners had their daughters and their best friends and maybe like one or two other dancers that they thought would make it. And so they had them audition. And my mom questioned, well, why can't my daughter audition? Why is she not on the list? Why is it not open for everybody? She was like, I think my daughter can make it just as much as they can. So she submitted it on her own time. And they
Hmm.
were upset at her about it, but
Go
she did it
mom.
anyway. So I thank
She did
mom
it
for that.
anyway?
Yeah, yeah. And she's just like, there's no point in, you can't tell me that I can't have my kid auditioning for something. You can't block that opportunity off because it's open to everybody. So she submitted it and they just kind of felt a kind of way, but it wasn't like they told us you can't. They just tried to sneak and only have a few people doing it. And she was like, no, you're not going to do that to my kid. So we auditioned and I made it out of everybody who auditioned to New York. And I just was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And so they called us and were like, yeah, we don't want you to do, it was Abby's Ultimate at the time, which we didn't even realize, but they're like, we want you to be on Dance Moms. And I remember looking at her and I was like, what? What do you mean? Like I watched the show before and I was like, wait, really? And I remember us going to New York and that was just a dream come true because I love New York, the lights, everything. As a kid, I
Mm.
was just in awe. And then I remember doing my solo in this room. There was like black curtains and a camera. And I remember them asking my mom, like they interviewed her, and I was watching back in a different room, and they asked her about a specific person, and I mean, she just kind of had her her, her moment,
She
and
was your mom.
yes, and she just was like, I love my kid and I wouldn't let anyone tell my kid how to, what to do and talk to them that way. And I was just like, Mom, like, what are you doing? But I feel like that's what drew them into hiring us is that my mom just had this personality. And I mean, we're both Tauruses, but we're polar opposites in that way. I'm very reserved and a little timid. She is like, I'm going to tell you what I feel, how I feel it, no matter how it makes you feel. So,
What
yeah.
have I love your mom's boldness. Your mom was very bold on the
Hmm.
show, and she
Yeah.
brought a lot of things to light that if you look back,
Yeah.
10 years later, um, she was right. So,
Hmm.
what have you learned from your mom?
Oh, I think I learned just reinforcing what I said earlier about that being unapologetic about who you are and standing on your own business and protecting the people that you love. Like, I think a lot of people viewed my mom, and I mean, people have said it, and they still are on my Instagram talking about how she's uneducated and she's ghetto and she's this and she's that. And I'm like, my mom is, first of all, has multiple degrees. She's in school to getting her master's right now. She's a amazing mom, has been an amazing mom to me and my siblings. She's gone through so much more than anyone could ever imagine. And also all of the ridicule that she faced behind the cameras that they did not show. Like there was one episode where she got in someone's face, put her finger in their face, and everyone's like, oh, she's ghetto, she's violent, she's this, she's that. But they didn't air the fact that that other person got in her face first. Or how many times she was called a black B word, um, the
People would call her that on the
homophobia.
show.
Yes, she was called a black B word in the dressing room. And that's when she kind of went off because she's like, wait, now it's a race thing. Hold on. Or the homophobia she experienced when she came out as being gay on the show, which was, in my opinion, the boldest thing I've ever seen. And it also inspired me. But she experienced things behind closed doors that they didn't air. They kind of, in my opinion, intentionally made my mom out to be a villain, and she's not. She's not the kind of person that's just gonna go off for no reason. She has to have probable cause, especially talking about her children. She does not play about her kids at all. So anytime I would come into play, anyone talking about me in any kind of way was like, okay, no, we're not gonna do that. Um, And I think what I learned from her is to never ever apologize, never ever not defend the people that you love, and stand on who you are and be passionate about what you feel, because people will try to make you out to be a villain, and sometimes unfortunately you can't help that. You have to play the villain in their story, and that's what it's going to be. You can't change their opinion. So don't try to be who you are, and say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's probably the biggest thing, to not ever let someone bully me. She said that to me verbatim, because I was bullied during the time I was on Dance Moms in school. Cyberbullying was a really bad thing that I experienced. And I mean, even now, again, to this day, there's people that are just on my TikTok, on my Instagram, that just randomly will say things about my mom and talk terribly about me. And she just taught me, like, verbatim, don't ever let anyone bully you. You are who you are, and that's enough. Be who you are, love yourself, and don't let anyone bully you. These are just words. People are going to say things about you. People are always going to have something to say. No one's going to, there's going to be one person that may not like you in every room you walk in, but what are you going to do? You know?
I'm sorry that, that happens on that platform, for sure. How do you emotionally deal with it being bullied, cyberbullied? Still, that's why I'm asking.
Hmm. I just, I actually, maybe it's not pity. It's more so I feel bad for people who are sitting behind a screen. And out of all the things that people can be doing these days, there's so many avenues and things to do. Um, I mean, I could go down a whole list of things to do on a daily basis: walking a dog, touching grass, working, learning, anything. And people sit behind a screen and spew out negativity. It honestly makes me feel bad for them, because at some point, you've gone through something in your life that has made you feel like that behavior is okay. And that's the only way you can cope with whatever you have going on personally. So I actually stopped taking it personal and started just being like, I feel bad for that person. Obviously, you're not having a good day, and you just decided that I was going to be the person you were going to take that out on. And a lot of it too for me is little kids, I think teenagers that say stuff. And I'm like, well, I'd hate for your mom to see that. Like, I don't know, maybe you don't have someone in your life that's monitoring you enough to make sure you're not doing things like this on the internet. I'm not sure, but I just start to understand that a lot of times when people say something negative about you or they're mean to you, especially if you haven't done anything to them, it's something that they're dealing with personally. So I can't let that impact me. I have to let them deal with their thing on their own and take it to the chin and move on, because 9 times out of 10, it's not true. My mom's not ghetto. I'm not a terrible dancer. I'm not a sore loser. I'm not any of the things that people have said about me.
Let the audience, what is, I know what this means, but let the audience know what it means when they call someone ghetto.
Mhm. Ah,
Why is that word bad? That's why, because I hear that word thrown around at times. And I'm like, you shouldn't be saying that.
people use ghetto, in my opinion, to belittle someone, to try to make them seem as if they are uneducated and um, unruly and small, in my opinion. Um, that our culture as Black people is out of the norm and tacky, and I can't even put the negative words to it because I've just never looked at it that way. But they they
Almost feels
use
like
the
not enough.
yeah, like not enough,
Like
yeah.
the ghetto is a negative, like not enough.
Mhm,
Where,
like it's trash.
yeah, I mean, I have family that I don't even know what that word ghetto means, because it's
Mhm.
been used so much. Like, what does it mean? Like the definition that would be like, does it just mean a city that is not a part of, is a suburb, But what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say is that I have family that live there, and that's a compliment. I have fun when I go there, and you know what I mean? Like, or if someone calls you has called me a gay slur at times. Now that I'm older, I'm like, thank you for the reminder. I am, like
Mhm.
that kind of, it's not negative.
Yeah.
I think how it's used is negative, but I don't necessarily know that definition. I know you said your mom has been a lot and through a lot, and I know you have too. I wanted to say, I read right before that you had family members that passed, and that I'm sorry about that. And how did you? I'm dealing with a couple deaths in my life. How you started off being so optimistic? Um, how after all that, how are you so optimistic?
I'm sorry if I get emotional in advance. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. I lost my older brother, um, 2023, which was my mom's firstborn son, and my father passed in 2024. And it's not easy to, especially with my brother. He was unfortunately murdered. It's not easy to think about it. It's not easy to stay optimistic because there's always going to be a question. There's always going to be a why. Um, and I think that's what obviously for me as a Black woman aggravates me the most about when people use the term ghetto and try to belittle the Black community in general, because you have no idea what we face on a daily basis. It's just our story with my brother is just another number in the statistic of Black men killing each other, the gun violence in our community, um, even police brutality. My brother experienced a lot of police brutality where he lived, and it's hard. It's very hard to think about that. It's hard to cope with it. My father is a bit different, as hard as it is for me still. He was unfortunately sick. And seeing him sick, I was like, you know what? He's in a better place. That is an easier pill to swallow than
Mm.
to try to understand how my brother's life got taken away from him at the age of 27, which is why I, yeah, it's hard to stay optimistic, but the reason why I'm optimistic is because I know in my heart, I believe that they're still with me in spirit. I believe that they're always with me, they're always watching me, and they wouldn't want me to let this um, get me off track of where I want to go. My brother and I would always talk about our careers and sit on the phone. He'd be like, "So, how do you get in with an agent? And what do you do with this?" Like he had a rap career and he loved what he did and he wanted me to go far and I wanted him to go just as far. So they wouldn't want me to let this overcome the dreams that I have and the path that I'm walking on and what God has in store for me. So I can't let it. It's hard. I have my days, absolutely. his 3 year anniversary of his death just came up this month, last week. And that was a hard day for me. I couldn't get out of bed. But the next day I got up and I did my job and I did it with a smile on my face because you just kind of have to. You don't have a choice. My mom doesn't have a choice but to continue to be a mother to me and my siblings and my 5-year-old little brother who is a handful. We just don't have a choice. And it can be a lot, but to me, this is all part of God's plan, what He has in store for me. And it makes me a stronger woman and a stronger artist. I have someone to dance for now, two people to dance for.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. What is your spirituality? You said God a few times.
Yes, I do believe I identify with spirituality mainly. I did grow up in a Baptist church for some years with my mom and and my brother, but um, as dance kind of took a toll, like a huge
Yeah, dance
hold on
competitions
my
on
life.
Sunday.
Yeah, even rehearsals on Sunday, I'm like, I can't go drive to church and make it on time. So my mom made a choice and a sacrifice. And over the years, especially dealing with my grief, I kind of lost sight of my relationship with God. And then I kind of regained it back. And it really does keep me standing. It keeps me going. Um,
That's your hope.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah. just had a close friend pass away on Sunday.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's been pretty rough. So um, that you know that gives me hope, and even this conversation has from the beginning, because I had read what you had been through and you were still so hopeful coming and sitting down. So, um, we never know what people are going through. We never knew what these people really were going through on the show either, and what they go through now. I know that you knew I had Yvette on, um,
Hmm.
and even her experience outside of the show. Um, People on reality TV can look like little objects,
Yeah.
or anyone in the public eye, these images, but everyone's human. And, it's so complex, even this racism in the dance world.
Hmm.
It's so complex. It's not going to happen in one podcast. Um, on a positive note, have you seen change in the dance competition world and in the dance community?
As uh in the dance community as a whole, I've definitely seen a positive change. Dance competition, I've been so far away from. It's kind of hard. I'd
Mhm.
love to honestly get back into it, whether it be judging, teaching. I just love that it's like home to me. I've done it for so many years. But for the dance community as a whole, I've seen a huge change and a huge shift. And it's just really nice. Even the contract that I'm on right now, we're doing two shows. One of them is called Revolution, the celebration of Prince. And it is literally about Prince. And the choreographer and director of it, Patty Wilcox, is a phenomenal woman. And the fact that I have so many castmates, coworkers, friends who look like me is so heartwarming. And it is so nice to see because it is a huge change from being on jobs where I'm one of three Black people or two. Even in my class at my school in college, I was one of four Black people. Out of 34, it was four of us, and I was one. And to see that nowadays, to see musicians of color, to see dancers and singers of color, to now be wanting to dabble in the commercial dance world. I would love to get another tour and go into that life and to see people who look like me, people who are shaped in all different sizes is a beautiful thing to me. And I think that's what I love about the commercial dance world these days is that it's like it's about your look. If you have the look, you fit it, you can dance, let's do it. It's not necessarily about if you can do it because most of the dancers, especially let's say for in LA, a lot of those dancers are incredible and it's not about if you can dance anymore. People aren't holding auditions anymore. Um, if you got to look and they've seen you in class before and they can see your reels and see how good you are and what your style is and if it fits the style of that tour or that performance, you've got the job. And I love that because obviously there's pros and cons to it, but the pros is that you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to change yourself and not be you. Your
Mhm.
uniqueness and your authenticity is what books you that gig. And that's what I love to see nowadays is to see people looking like me, booking more jobs.
And being celebrated and validated.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what I hope for more. I'm still in the dance competition world.
Hmm.
Is that is be you. There's a changing of the guard, even in the dance world,
Hmm.
in the sense of, I mean, I think Little Nas X, he challenges that for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Is be you, be you. That
Yeah.
and that scares the people that were, I love that quote. Privileged people think equality is oppression,
Hmm.
when it's not,
Yeah.
and so that's is validating everyone for where they're at, not having this standard that
Hmm.
if you don't look and dance like this, then you can't be a part of it. I
Yeah.
don't think that is the case. I used to dance for Prince.
Really?
Yeah, I did. But I did his Emancipation album. And I went to
Mm.
Paisley Park, and a
Hmm.
one of the
Wow.
best to work with. So
Yeah.
giving and fierce.
Oh yeah.
He had some
Yeah.
fierce heels, did
Hmm.
not care. And but yeah, that was a really great time in my life. And yeah, seeing I do see what you mean as far as I just worked on the Brandy Monica tour and helped cast it and produce it with Frank Gatson.
Oh
So
really?
seeing the audition process is different now.
Hmm.
They can audition you through the phone,
Hmm.
everyone.
Yep.
They can audition you through Dance Moms. You
Hmm.
know, did Judith Jamison know you were on Dance Moms?
I don't know. I don't know if my mom brought that up or not to her.
I
I
bet
don't.
she did. I know these
Maybe.
people. They act
Yeah.
like they don't watch it. And they
Yeah.
all did. Debbie Allen, Judith Jamison,
Yeah. Yeah.
they
Hmm.
secretly want to hate it, but they love it.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what was your solo for AUDC? That's what I want to know when you auditioned.
um,
Weren't you in like blue and black?
that was for one of my
Dance Moms?
Dance Moms, yeah,
Oh, okay.
solos that was choreographed. But when I auditioned, I think I did my solo move, and I had like yellow feathery costume. It was a two piece. I still have pictures of it. Yeah, that was a number. I love that one. Yeah.
Your dream from Dreamgirls move?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I love that song. I just did a
Hmm.
solo to a girl this year to that.
Really?
The
Yeah, it's such
Jennifer
a good
Hall,
song.
the Jennifer Holiday. Which version did you do? Hudson or
Jennifer
Holiday?
Hudson. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
like Jennifer Hudson, but Jennifer
Hmm.
Holiday is the definitely the OG one. Now, how did
Hmm.
your mom's really smart and intelligent because she did know I'm going to put my kid, like she said, you got to take the technique. You know,
Hmm.
um, how did you get into dance? Did your mom just sign you up?
Mm. She actually she did it with all of my siblings. It was like a trial and error. Let's see what you can do. She was a swimmer herself, really great swimmer, and she put us all in swim classes, put my brothers in karate and football and see what they wanted to do. And I remember I was at the YMCA and they put me in that swim cap, put me in a swimsuit, and I just was not having it. I didn't want to do it. I dipped in the pool once and then I got out and I ran away. And so they were like, well, your mom, they called my mom on the intercom, like, let's find your kid because she's gone somewhere. And they found me soaking wet, standing outside of that like dance studio that they had. And they were doing like a ballet fitness class. And I was trying to do everything that they were doing. My mom was like, okay, I'm done forcing it. We'll put you in dance. And I've been stuck ever since.
Well, yeah. I mean, you come on. I'm a dance dad. So what
Mhm.
titles did you win? I have to know.
Oh, oh wow. I don't even
I
remember.
know at least your mom knows, that's for sure.
Yeah, my mom will tell you everything. I think I won like a Jazz Idol award. I've won um
Miss
I-
Showbiz, I'm sure.
yeah, Miss Showbiz, Miss Primetime, a few scholarships from the conventions. I think my biggest one though that I would say I really am proud of was I did a teen talent competition in St. Louis, and it was people in high school come from everywhere, and they would audition whatever styles, whatever gifts they had, acting, singing, baton twirling, anything, magic, all that, and it was a bunch of rounds in the competition. I made it all the way to the end and I won first place and got $8,000 scholarship. So out of all the titles, all the trophies that I've given away over the years, I'd say that one was my most proud moment that I won that because it helped me with school
The
and
money.
yeah, it was a big thing in St. Louis. So yeah.
Who did you connect with on Dance Moms? Who were you friends
Um
with or still friends with, I should say, too?
Hadley Waltz, that's still my girl. I love her. And Yvette, of course, that's my second mom. I love that lady. So when I saw you both, I was just like, oh, I had to watch it because I love her. That's like my family. And I still try to check in with them as much as possible. But like I said, I'm so busy. Um, and there was one other girl named Madeline. I don't know if you remember her. She was on Candy Apples with me too. I connected with her, and she just posted like a throwback of us in 2016, and I was like, "What a time, what an era."
Is that when you
So
were on it? That
uh,
around that time?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think so. Um, but yeah, just like a few people here and there, but really everyone else, we just kind of went our own separate ways.
Did you yourself connect with any of the other Black cast members on Dance Moms?
Cameron Bridges and I have known each other actually before. Obviously, she's from St. Louis as well. We used to compete against each other for years. And we never really like got to know each other as kids because we're always competing against each
Yeah.
other. But it was just always like that.
Backstage look.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And so when she came on the show, it was like I was very happy to not only have someone of color, but to have someone from St. Louis. And I remember Camille, her mom, and my mom, they obviously were good friends. And so they would just kind of like, they would like pretend, obviously, beef with each other and be at odds. But then afterwards, they'd be like, that was fun. There was never any real drama, of course, between them. So I still check in on Cameron, and my mom checks in on Camille. But that's those people are like, people that we've known for a long time. So yeah, Ania and I never really talked, but I just do remember distinctly the first episode when I first walked into Abby Lee's studio, and I remember seeing her face, and she just lit up. And I remember asking my mom at the hotel that night, I was like, "Are we related?" And she was like, "No, I think she's just happy to see another dancer who looks like her." And
Mhm.
even just her mom sharing stories with my mom about the things that she experienced, I was just like, okay, I get it now. So it was kind of hard to honestly leave the team when that transition happened, because it was like she seems like she was probably alone in those seasons in that time of her life where there was just no other dancer that looked like her on the team until obviously Cameron came on, which they were on at the same time at some point, right?
Yeah. All the
Yeah.
way up until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all the way up until the end. Have you read her book?
I have not.
Yeah, I haven't either. I have it. I have the
Mhm.
book, everyone. I don't do Kindle. I actually have the hard copy, which but I
Mhm.
definitely congratulated her and for her boldness and courage. And you too,
Thank you.
bold. It's bold to share this stuff, especially right now. But there's
Mhm.
a lot of us that are here to support. And what can we do? What can the dance competition world do, the dance community world do to, I don't know if that word help, I don't like that word help. I mean, it doesn't seem appropriate, that word help, but what can we do to um, end racism in the dance competition world?
Mhm. I think definitely spreading awareness more. I really appreciated the dancer you said that she stepped up and her mom stepped up and spoke out. But like my mom and I, we discussed it too when we kind of saw that we were like, but we had been saying stuff that we experienced on that show before she said anything, and no one said anything. Nobody listened until that dancer spoke up, and it was like we weren't mad. We weren't like, we were just like, finally that the truth is
Mhm.
coming out. And to keep having moments like this podcast and people coming out with books. And I really appreciated um the girls when they did that interview or reunion that they did just by themselves, and they kind of all just talked about the things that they experienced, and they were being vulnerable and actually talked about their trauma. Like that is a very brave thing to do, but it also spread awareness. Like we were kids, we were all young, and a lot of
Mhm.
us traumatized from how we were treated. And even just, I know like the origin of the show, that story, like the awareness of it needs to be brought up, and we need to have more moments where we're saying this is not okay. Enough is enough with this, and holding people accountable. Because I mean, I'm sure there are dance teachers out there that are still very toxic and mean to dancers, and they think that it's going to make them better, but it's not. And it's no shade. It's just we have to do better. You just have to acknowledge where you went wrong, and be aware that that has to stop. Because at the end of the day, I forgive even when there's no apology, because I have to do that for my own sake. I can't walk around with that grudge. I can't walk around holding that. I was self-conscious about my voice, my ears, my legs, my hands, every little thing that we can't change. So just bringing awareness, to answer your question, bringing awareness to it, letting it be known that this isn't okay. Because I and my mom spoke out about our experience on Dance Moms, to never try to put people down or shame people, um, but
Mm.
to bring awareness to what actually happened, because that kind of stuff doesn't go away and it doesn't change until you start saying that's not okay. And I'm glad and I'm very proud of Nia as well for speaking out about her story, because she needed to say what she experienced for the awareness to be brought up, so that other dancers of color, brown girls, brown boys, brown artists, and people in general can look to someone and say, you know what, if they can do it, so can I. If they can speak up, so can I. If I experienced that and that wasn't okay for her, it's probably not okay for me either. So,
What gives you the courage though to speak up? I've seen this in my life. The more I speak up,
mhm.
those people don't like it.
Yeah, of course not. They're not going to like it, but who would? Who would want someone to speak up about the behavior they know it's wrong? It's guilt. It's not anything you're doing. You're doing the right thing because it comes with self-love. You always have to love yourself enough to say no, or that's not okay, or I can't accept that. I can forgive you. I don't have to hate you, but I can't accept that. Which is why, again, for example, my mom and I, it wasn't necessarily a thing of, oh, we got kicked off of the dance team, because I know that that was kind of a misconception. We chose to not come back if we were dealing with that team, not because we felt like she was a bad person. It just that was toxic, and we're not gonna my mom wasn't gonna put me through that.
She was
Um,
advocating for you.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, and no, people aren't gonna like it, but like I said earlier, people aren't gonna like anything you say. It could be something good, and they may not like it. So just advocating for yourself and speaking up, loving yourself enough, loving parents out there, loving your kid enough to say, I'm not gonna put my kid through that. I was bullied in one of my old dance studios, and my mom was like, if this continues, I'm gonna take her out. And until it
What,
changed,
how did she know? Did you tell her?
yes, I told her, but she also, it was like, I mean, back in just the most cliche bullying, the girls in the corner were springing pss, 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 and playing and having a good time, and I'm the only one standing in the corner by myself.
Was
And
that
she's like,
after or before Dance Moms?
before,
Before. Did you,
yeah.
what was your experience going back to the studio after Dance Moms?
I unfortunately got kicked off of my studio because of it just was like a downward spiral. Ever since I did Dance Moms and I got called back and they wanted me to be in the show, it just felt like, in the most humble way, because I'm very humble dancer, but I just felt like it was a jealousy thing. Like, oh, so you auditioned even though we didn't want you to, and then you make it, and then you get on the show and you get this fame. They're just like, whatever. And it just felt like they nitpicked at every little thing.
Mm, to find an
And
excuse.
yeah. And so they just told me, I remember my mom, I came home from school, or walked home from school, and she sat me down. She's like, they called me today and told me that we couldn't come back to the studio. But luckily, I ran into now my mentor, Anthony Burrell, who I
Oh,
worked with on the
Anthony.
show. Oh, I love Anthony. That is literally my dance
He
dad.
was on AUDC.
Uh-huh. Yep. And
And
he,
obviously, I worked with him on AUDC. That's how I know him because I
mhm,
didn't work on that side of Candy Apples.
yeah.
But
And
yeah, he gave you good advice, I'm sure.
oh, he gave me such good advice. He was like, what studio are you a part of? And I told him, I was like, none. They kicked me off. And he was like, oh, you need to be dancing. You need to be training. And he connected me with Antonio and Curvin Doubt the Boy, because they did Ailey together, and got me hooked up at my home studio. And ever since then, he just was like, I'm watching you. I'm making sure you have what you need, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And then ever since then, that's literally been mentor slash father figure in my life. He helped me get some of the jobs that I say I've gotten, like the tour jobs. He called me and was like, I need a dancer. Are you available? And I got that job days after I got home from my cruise ship job. And he also works at my college that I graduated from. He came and joined closer to my senior year, um, and is a professor there. And he's just literally a part of my family.
Do you know
So,
Frank Yatson? I feel he
name
would love
sounds
you too.
familiar.
He's kind of I mean, he did a lot of Beyonce up until Lemonade. He was her
Hmm.
creative
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
director. choreographer, and he did the Brandy Monica recently. He would love you.
Hmm. Hmm.
He
Yeah.
loves fierce dancers,
Yeah.
um, people of color, brown, black, that are just fierce like you.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's why he would hire me. Because the legs and the flips and
Yeah.
so yeah, so that was I'm gonna hook you two up for sure. For
Oh,
sure.
good. Thank
For
you.
sure.
That'd be so nice.
What was one of your best memories of Dance Moms?
Honestly, just like the fun that we had behind the scenes. I remember when I did get to ALDC the first time, like I have pictures of us like playing tag and Mackenzie and I, she like sat with me and we were on our phones and talking in British accents, like those kind of small moments. I think one of my favorites was probably working with Blake McGrath, and he did, I believe, he did that group dance with us, and we had these
Hmm.
big dresses on, and it was honestly one of my favorite experiences on the show because he actually was like, no, we're gonna dance, and you're gonna do this choreo, and you're gonna do it full out, and we're gonna kind of get in touch with our spirituality and truly just go on the stage and do what we love to do. And it didn't feel like we were filming. It just felt like I was able to dance, which was really lovely. And the cast members that were on at that time, like Hadley, um,
Gavin? Was Gavin on?
yes,
He's
it was he.
fierce. He's so good.
I don't know if he was on with me, but I do remember Gavin.
Oh, you don't know if he
Leon,
was in that group. Oh, got it.
yes, but Leon, who I'm still friends with now, she's an amazing person, and just those people that I was able to work with and doing that kind of dance was so lovely. But the behind the scenes, traveling and hanging out with them and us just being able to be kids when we got the chance to was probably my favorite.
You all are doing, I love, you mentioned Mackenzie and Maddie and just seeing all of you, I always would say the show's could be like you probably don't remember this, but there was the Mickey Mouse Club, and a lot of the kids
Mm-hmm.
from the Mickey Mouse Club ended up being very successful. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say it could be that, and it is turning into that.
Yeah.
Who would you want to perform with?
Oh,
Are you going to move to
everyone.
LA after this?
I would I we're still working on that. I kind of want to try out Atlanta for a little,
Oh yeah,
because I
Atlanta's
also heard
great.
that Atlanta people are getting LA work,
Yep.
and I just yeah. But I want to do Missy Elliott, Beyonce. I want to do as many performances as possible with whomever. Like
Act
I'm just
three
at
is
that
coming up.
point. I'm ready for it.
You better
I
take that, Chris. Have you been in front of Chris Grant?
no,
Get in front of him. He will love
yeah.
you.
Hmm.
Anybody who wants to dance for Beyonce, get in front of Chris
Yep.
Grant. He has his
Yep.
intensives and he will, he does these. Do you know about the intensives?
No.
He has like an intensive every now and then,
Hmm.
and you go and take it, and he'll do some choreography from the tours. And
Mm.
I know some people who have, I don't, eventually they end up working with him.
Hmm.
He does a lot of stuff. Super talented. Um,
Yeah.
how was your relationship with dance after? Because a lot of the girls don't dance. So,
Yeah.
you still do dance. So, what
Hmm.
was that journey like with dance after the show?
Um, Honestly, much better in my opinion. I actually got to take a step away from competition dance, which is
Mm.
it's a different world. It really is. I appreciate both, but I think going into more concert dance in high school with the pre-professional program that I was a part of at Coca, doing modern and ballet and contemporary and focusing on that, and then going into college where I majored in contemporary dance and I was doing again modern ballet classes every day and they just got a commercial dance program because of Anthony Burrell, but just being able to go into different world of dance, that concert commercial dance and honing in on what not necessarily my specialty is, but the one that I want to at least start with because I think that's why um, I love Anthony Burrell so much was that he dabbled in everything. Broadway, Ailey, commercial with Beyonce, Mariah Carey, the whole 9 yards. He did
Yeah.
everything.
Dance
He's
moms.
and dance moms, and I want to do the same thing, especially as a versatile dancer who my mom put me in tap, jazz, hip hop, everything, you name it, I was in it. And so I was also taught by him to never put all your eggs in one basket. If you are good at tap, you're good at this, do everything. Start with one, but go and do everything that you can do, because then I don't want to put myself in a box and only stick to one style when I know I can do others, which is why I love the contract that I'm on now. We have another show also by Patty Wilcox that's like modern based. It's a lot of modern contemporary dance, but then there's the Prince show, and that's commercial hip hop and heels, and it's two different worlds, but I get to do both. I get to keep training in both, which is so nice. So um my relationship with dance just got so much better. I actually just got to mature in it and sit in it and really understand it and what it means to me and where I want to go with it. Because obviously in high school, my biggest question was, what do I want to do now? Where do I want to go? I want to go to college for dance. I want to get my BFA, but where do I want to go after that? Where can I start? So it was nice to take a step away from competition and actually kind of get serious about what it is that I want to do and who I am as an artist.
What do you love about dance?
Um, I love that. That's a question. I love that I can just be me. I love that I can, no matter what choreography I'm given, I make it my own, and with respects to the choreography, of course, but just making it my own and being able to perform. Performing is probably my
Mm.
most favorite thing in the world to do, to share this gift that I have been given from God, and sharing it with people, for people to say like, "Oh my God, that was amazing! Oh my God, that touched me! Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful!" That is that's my favorite thing about dance. Um, and a part of me, yes, I do it for myself. Like when I'm dancing, I am dancing for that little girl in me who was on Dance Moms and was bullied. I'm dancing for my dad, my brother, my mom. I'm dancing for everyone. But then to be able to share that gift and to share all of my years of training and everything I've been through with an audience, little girls out there, little brown girls who look up to me, I just love that aspect of it, being able to touch people and bring joy to someone's day, someone's cruise, someone's concert, whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's very dance is meaningful in it anywhere.
Hmm.
The dance community can get real, if you're only dancing with Beyonce, is is it meaningful? It's like, no, that's not what dance is for. That, yes, that tour
Hmm.
affects people that go, but so
Yeah.
does being on this cruise. So does
Hmm.
seeing a solo from a 12-year-old girl at a dance competition. That's
Yep.
the beauty of um dance. Okay, so we're gonna do some these are our last questions. They're fun
Hmm.
questions. So just a little
Okay.
spit off. Favorite dancer?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll always say one of, because I know we all have
one
a
of.
lot. One of your
Yes.
favorite dancers, like alive, that's passed on, anything.
Mm. Oh,
Who's inspired you? Who do you try and dance like? I'm thinking like
who
how
do
I
I
used to
try and
dance.
dance like? That's such a good question. Um, mm,
Judith.
I was gonna say Judith. Yeah, Judith would be my biggest inspiration. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite choreographer?
Mm. One of my favorite choreographers. He's actually St. Louis native, and one of my hip hop teachers, Anthony Red Williams. Yeah,
Anthony Greg Williams?
Anthony Red Williams. He goes
Red
by Red.
Williams.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I'll have to check him out.
Mhm.
Favorite style of dance?
Ooh, Horton.
Yes, Horton.
I love a good lateral T.
What is that called?
A lateral T.
Yeah. I learned
Yeah.
that from Paula Morgan when I was
Yeah.
18. I came out here and she taught me a lot about horn. That warm up, it is so hard and so good.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, I'm gonna give the kids some Horton. Favorite
Mhm.
dance movie?
Hmm. Dance movie. I
Center
never really
Stage, High School Musical.
Oh, High School Musical is iconic. I'll say that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
High School Musical. Favorite Broadway show?
Oh, Broadway, 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 Lion King.
He Lives in You.
Yeah. Hmm.
If you could do a solo now for a dance competition, what would it be to?
Oh, wow.
Prince?
That's so good. I would do Prince. That was actually my first solo song was Baby I'm a Star. So doing the Prince show and then going back and doing a Prince, yeah, I would do that.
There you
A
go.
Prince song.
First overall. Is your mom still a dance mom with you?
Oh, absolutely. She just actually came on the cruise for Christmas and she was just being my typical dance mom. Yeah,
Oh, your mom. Give her love from
I will.
me to her.
Hmm.
Um, what's one of the boldest things you have done?
Uh, Spoken up for myself, defended myself. Yeah.
Hmm, yes, bold. Okay, where can people follow you?
On my Instagram, my first and last name, Nicaya Wiley. I also have a TikTok as well. I am going to be doing more content, I promise, but the ship, the Wi-Fi, I got to pay for it. And it's also not as great all the time. So when I get back online, I'll be doing more content. And um, yeah, follow me on there and wherever else I will take you. Any links I will post on my Instagram or my TikTok. But those are my two biggest platforms.
Well, thank you for making this time, and
Mhm.
I'm so excited to see where your dancing goes. You got a long career in front of you, and what a joy this conversation was. So thank you.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to Dance Dad with John Corella. Thank you to everyone at Hivecast for all that you do. And if this episode meant something to you, please share it and subscribe. Also, you can follow Dance Dad with John Corella on all platforms. But most importantly, remember to be bold and be fierce.